Good morning, students. This is Catherine, Assistant Professor, Department of Physical Education, Health Education and Sports. Today we are going to talk about the subject Human Anatomy and Physiology. As previously in the classes, I have taught you about the meaning and definitions of human anatomy and physiology. So what is anatomy and what is physiology? Now you would have known about the subject very clearly. And now we are going to study in detail about the subjects which anatomy includes, the subject matters which anatomy includes. What are the subjects included in the anatomy? So there are a few subjects which are included in the anatomy. That is, one is cytology, histology, osteology, myology, anthrology, and splantology, neurology. So this we are going to study in detail. First of all, we'll start with the cytology. What is cytology? Cytology is the study of structure of function of cells. So in cytology, we'll be studying about the structure and the functions, how the cell is formed, the composition, what are the cell contains, all those things we know, and what are the functions of the cells. These are all the things we will be studying in the cytology. Cytology or cell biology, it is the branch of biology which deals with the study of the structure of cells, its components and physiology mechanism of multiplication, heredity and development. So in it is also called as cell biology. Cytology is also known as cell biology, and it's a branch of biology, they say, and it deals with the structure of the cells, how the structure, the cell structure is composed, and its components, and how it works, and the mechanism, and how it is multiplied, and how it helps in the growth and development of heredity. The cell, because why we have to study cytology means because it is a basic functional unit, basic structural and functional unit of life. So it is very important that we study about cytology, and it is most important of all the topics in the sciences, in all the sciences. The secondly, we'll be studying about the subject which is included in the anatomy is histology. What is histology? Histology is a study of tissues. So what are the tissues, how the tissues are arranged, and how it constitutes the organs. Likewise, we will be studying in the subject of histology. Histology is derived from the word histo. Histo means tissue. And logos means study of or science, we can say. So histo, the word histo means tissue, logos means study. So from this itself we can say the subject deals with the study of the science of tissues. So this is what histology means. It is also said to be that scientific study of fine details of cells and tissues using a microscope. So histology study, the tissues cannot be studied with plain eyes. It can be studied only using a microscope. So that fine details can be studied only through a microscopic equipment. So likewise only the histology study. So if we study about the tissues, so there are so many types of tissues, and this will be studying in the further classes. Now it is an introduction. This subject is also included in the subject of anatomy. The third one is osteology. Osteo. So the word osteo itself means bone. It's a Greek word, osteon, that means bone, and logos, as already I said, it is a study of or science. So the study of bones is called as osteology. Osteology is a science which study the morphology and the functions of the bones which form the skeleton. So osteology is a science So it's we all know it is a science, and it studies the functions of the bones, how the skeletal system is formed, and what are the materials, so how the bones are formed. All these things will be coming under the subject osteology. It's they say it is a sub-discipline of anatomy, and osteology is a detailed study of the structure of bone skeletal elements. So as I said already, how the bones are composed. So for example, cartilage, bone marrows, all these things we will be studying in the subjects of osteology. Osteology is often used by the scientists with identification. Why osteology is used by the scientists? They can identify. Suppose nowadays we can see the Agalvaraichi, they say. In that itself we can say we get the things, decomposed bones, so that remains we get, and we can get that thing, and the bones, with that bones they can say this person lived before so many 19th century, 18th century, so 2000 years ago, 1000 years ago, 100 years ago. Likewise, the bones helps the scientists to find out the age, and also the cause of the death also they can find it, and they can also find the sex, that is the male or female, the growth and development by using the biocultural context. So osteology plays a vital role in the field of anatomy. Then the next thing is subject is myology. What is myology? Myology is a study of structure, arrangement, and the action of muscles. So the word myo itself, we can say it is a study of muscles. So the muscles, so many muscles are there, so each and every muscles, how it helps the body to move, how it make each and every part of the bones in a steady place, how it is connected, how it is inserted, the origin and insertion and the ending. So all those things we will be studying in the myology. Myology is also said to be the science of anatomy and the functions of muscles. So myology is a study of said to be the science of anatomy and the functions of muscles. So what are the functions of muscles? So functions of muscles means you all generally know how the muscles helps us in moving moving our hands, and flexion, abduction. So all those things we would have studied more about the muscles functions. So how we extend, so it helps us to lift a thing. So not only if the bones are there, it won't be helpful for us to perform any actions. The muscles helps. So the study of which muscles. So suppose if a muscle gets injured, our muscle pull is there, we can't. So we should know how to, even for a treatment of a muscle injury, we should know the structure of the muscle, and how it is aligned in our body, how the origin and the insertion, so from where it starts and where it ends. So all these things we have to know, and this can be studied under the subject of myology. That this is included in the subject matter of anatomy. Myology helps to understand the physiology of different types of muscles and tissues in locomotion, pumping blood, and other function of visceral organs. So myology not only it helps in the movement of our body, but it also helps in the pumping the blood. So if for example, muscles, we have not only we have different types of muscle, cardiac muscle. Our heart itself is a muscle, so it helps in pumping the blood and other functions of the visceral organs. So for example, if our internal organs, it is also, if with the help of the muscles only, some internal organs are working also. So muscles not only helps in motion, but it helps in pumping the blood and the other functions of visceral organs. So myology is a division of systematic anatomy that deals with the description of muscles and accessory structures which functions to put the bones and joint in useful motion. As I said, if the bones are if our muscle is dead, our bones dislocate. So muscles play a vital role in keeping our body in a proper structure. So keeping the bones in proper alignment. If your shoulder muscle is not proper, your shoulder joint will be dislocated. So there are so many problems. So muscles play a vital role to keep put the bones and joints in useful motion. So in proper structure also, and it also helps the bones and joint to make a proper movement. Next we come to the arthrology. What is arthrology? So you might have heard about the word arthritis. So arthritis means what? So mostly you might have heard from the old people saying that maybe your parents, they might have been telling you what is arthritis. I have an arthritis problem. So the word arthritis means that the joints. The word arthrology is derived from the Greek word from ortho, and which means that is joints, and logos means science. So arthrology, the word arthrology consists of two words, that is ortho and logos. So what is ortho? Ortho means joint. Arthrology is a scientific study of joints and articulations. So in the subject arthrology, what we study about the joints and how it helps in the movements. For example, mostly the joint movements is we'll be having a hip joint, elbow joint. So what is the function of an elbow joint? It's extending and flexing. So likewise, each and every functions, how the joint works, these things will be coming under the subject of arthrology. Arthrology is a science that is concerned with the structure and function, dysfunction, and the treatment of joints. So all these things are combined only, it forms the subject arthrology. Next we move on to the next subject, which is included in the anatomy, that is planchnology. What is planchnology? Planchnology is a branch of anatomy which studies the structure of internal organs. So planchnology is a branch of anatomy. So it is a branch of anatomy. What it studies? It studies about the structure of internal organs. It studies about what are the internal organs, visceral organs, they say. So what is the structure in the internal organs? What are the internal organs in our body? For example, digestive system. So the digestive system consists of our stomach, intestine, all those things, and our liver, reproductive organs. So all these things comes under the internal respiratory system. So our lungs comes under the internal organs. All these things, the study of this type of organs is known as planchnology. The study of planchnology includes the organs of digestive system, respiratory system, urinary system, and genital system. So what are the systems included in the study of planchnology is digestive system. In your 8th standard or 10th standard, so you would have studied about the digestive system itself. We know the diagram, what we draw. we draw the small intestine, large intestine, our stomach, all those things we will be drawing. In all those things we will be studying under the splanchnology. Respiratory system, the trachea and the lungs, all those things, how the lungs is there. So the system of lungs, the functions of lungs, so how it exhales and how we inhale and how we exhale. So all those things will be studying. And the urinary system, how our kidney functions, the urinary bladder and the nephrons, all those things we will be studying under the subject of splanchnology. In other words, they say splanchnology is the study of visceral organs. Neurology, the last one is neurology. Neurology is the main things in our body. So here neuro means itself it is a study of the nervous system. The word neurology is derived from the word neuron, which means string or nerve, and logos means study or science. The study of the neurons, neurons in our body, that is known as neurology. It is a branch of medicine that deals with the disorders of nervous system. So they say it as what are the problems arise in our body because of disorders arise in our body because of the damage in the nervous system comes under the subject neurology. Neurology is a specialty that involves the diagnosis and treatment of diseases of impact functions of brain, spinal cord, peripheral nerves, muscles, autonomic nervous system and blood vessels that relate to the structures. So in neurology we study about the neurons, and we study about the functions of the brain, the parts of the brain we will be studying, and we study about the spinal cords, and from the peripheral nerves, the muscle autonomic nervous system, the blood vessels, all those things we will be studying under the subject neurology. So we have seen about the so many things, that is the so many subjects which are included in the subject matter of anatomy. So the first of all we studied about cytology. Cytology is a study of functions and structure of the cells. Histology is a study of tissues of our body, and osteology is the study of bones. Myology is the study of the structure, arrangements and the actions of muscles. Arthrology is a study of joints. Splanchnology is a study of internal organs, and neurology is the study of the nervous system. So these are the subject matters which are included in the anatomy. So with these only we can have a clear idea about the anatomy of our body. So this is for your class. So hopefully this is useful for you. Go through it again and study well. Thank you, students.